So then Jeffrey Wright answers back, I know these numbers are nothing to scoff at, but, pause. I know, but, okay, I don't mean to sound like a racist, but, you're about to say something racist. With all due respect, but you're about to disrespect someone. Incredible. Incredible. Now, don't get offended, but you're about to offend somebody, say something stupid. Okay, I don't mean to scoff at the numbers, the significance of the numbers, but yeah, you're about to scoff at something about the numbers. If the numbers stay the same through up until May, it's time to open up. It's time to work, to resume normalcy. All right then. The numbers are like 100 new cases a day. But the thing is that it doesn't stay on a linear path. This thing accelerates like it started off. Okay, well, let's just say it's linear. You want 10,000 new cases by the end of July? Do you know what 1% infection looks like? All right, let's remember that Memphis is just slightly over, I'm sorry, Shelby County, not Memphis. Shelby County is slightly over 50% African American. And 70% of the 35 deaths are African American. And this is something that's played out in cities all over the country. Why is that? Well, because whether or not you are obese, whether or not you are hypertense, whether or not you are diabetic, whether or not you have other kidney problems or heart problems, influence whether or not you're able to withstand the effects the virus has on your respiratory system all the way to recovery and building up of an immunity. That's why. So when you go back to normal on May 1, you're going to be endangering the life of a lot of Memphians who are going to be hit hardest by your irresponsibility and your lack of community consciousness. So, you answer back, Jeffrey Wright. So you're confused as to why the models have changed. At what point on the timeline are we on? Okay, I understand you may not have remembered statistics or might not have even taken statistics in your undergraduate years. I don't even know if you have undergraduate credentials, Jeffrey Wright. Thinking you do, but I'm not sure. But I will tell you that this is a bell curve. A bell curve has parameters. The parameters of the bell curve we are on, we're still on the leading part of it. Okay, we haven't toppled over and we haven't descended in number of active cases. We haven't gotten there yet. Maybe we would have gotten there already. If we would have gotten there too soon, if the bell curve would have been too narrow, too squished in, then we would have had mortalities well in excess, or cases well in excess of the ability of local hospitals to take in and treat. We would have lost too many lives. We would have put too many people in too much immediate danger. Which is what, I guess, Boris Johnson advocated, and the UK has the worst COVID mortality on the planet right now. Sweden advocated this, and they're bad with respect to mortality and the number of cases they have. If you look at deaths compared to cases. The reason why we're not so bad is because we just keep growing our cases so fast. They don't have time yet to, deaths don't have time to catch up with it, but they will. The way we're going about it. Okay. The curve changes because the parameters governing the curve change because we've changed our behavior. When I first said that, wow, I gotta congratulate Memphis for keeping the deaths from growing so fast, it's because 2 weeks prior we were rated B with respect to our social distancing. We've gone to D minus, and we're on this 100 case a day path, which is soon going to accelerate because of what it is. It's a bell curve. It accelerates and then it tops off at some number, hopefully, not too high for for our ability to treat the cases. But we've been treating the social distancing very lightly. So what point are we on the bell curve? Oh, we're on the leading edge, baby. We ain't over the top. We're not flattening up towards the top. We're on the leading edge, going up and up and up and faster, faster and faster, unless we blow this thing out some more. May 1, forget about it. As Mark Giannotto with his vowel on the end of his last name would say, forget about it. Okay? Oh, and what does Mark say in response to where are we on the model? Well, come May, if we're on the same trajectory, I'm going to have to agree with my neighbors. His neighbors in the Germantown area. So it's going to have to come down to individual choice as to whether or not to endure the risk. Let that one sink in for a while, okay? Do I need to answer to that? We're in this together. We're in this together, you meathead. I wonder if the University of Michigan is considering taking back that maize and navy blue diploma that you got for some reason. So Jeffrey Wright answers back. I'm not here to comment if that is morally right or not. Well, I can safely comment that you are an amoral meathead, okay? Jeff Calkins, Gary Parrish, come get your boys. So Mark Giannotto answers in a manner which basically reveals what we know him to be. What we know him to be with respect to his respect for human life and collective responsibility and sacrifice. I'm going to be content doing what we are doing come to the end of the month. Come May, I'm going to be one of those people. We know what kind of people you're going to be. Let's say, call it for what it is. You are one of those people. You are one of those people trying to beat out the door of a state house. You know those horrific looking people at the State House, I believe in Ohio, meeting that you can see through the door, some of them in their red hats. You know, that scene right there, it's going to be right alongside, remember, right alongside that misguided, ugly young woman in the beehive hat, hairdo, and the horn-rimmed glasses, yelling down that young black girl at Little Rock Central High School back in the 50s. We can't forget who she tried to, back away from who she is, but it wasn't sincere. They're going to try to walk back. But in this day and age, I'm warning all of you in Germantown or wherever who are one of those people. Social media is unforgiving and is part of the historical record. Your ass hattery is now your lethal ass hattery is on the historical record. So Jeffrey Wright says, if we take a sharp downturn, we should move back to normal. and kill off another hundreds or thousands of your listener base. In the USA, there are these hotspots for COVID-19. This is not one of them. That's what they said in South Dakota. South Dakota is not New York. And so an entire plant full of like 600 or so odd immigrant employees, a pork processing plant in South Dakota gets infected. Is allowed to get infected. Does that bother you? Is that not hotspot? No, that's not New York. It's special. It's worse than New York. But y'all probably going to be complaining about the fact that pork medallions are going to be $1 a pound more expensive because of this. And I will tell you that if this thing keeps on going the way it is, if we start back up too early, it's going to come with a vengeance. We will be worse than New York. New York is going over its curve now. It's on the way down because they've actually enacted severe social distancing irrespective of their population density. We're not. We're one of the worst states at it. And Memphis is the epicenter of COVID-19. We got 1 out of 6 people living in the state of Tennessee, and we got 1 out of 4 of the cases. After those poor little, beachgoers came back from Fort Lauderdale and took it back to Middle Tennessee or Vanderbilt, Nashville was swimming in COVID. And they've got that under wraps. We don't. We just shot right past them. Because, like Mark Giannotto said before, I drove by Shelby Farms and nobody was practicing social distancing over there, walking their dogs around the lake. You could tell people weren't 6 feet apart, but I just couldn't stand it. I had to go. I just did it. Nice going, Mark Giannotto. Nice going bragging about how kind of a meathead you are. So mercifully, this 10 minutes of nonsense ended. And they talked about Busch Beer having a contest about anybody, free beer for life if anybody had their wedding postponed because of the pandemic. And Jeff Wright, I'm hoping that your wedding I'm hoping for the sake of your happiness that your wedding gets postponed, not too much, but enough for you to win that lifetime supply. Because given the way you guys were discussing whether or not Natural Light or Keystone Light or Busch or whatever was the best beer from your wistful days of not being able to afford that much beer in college, well, that was more in line with your wheelhouse as to what to discuss outside of sports. I don't know. Who put y'all up to this? Did Robert Irwin Jewelers put y'all up to this? Because are they hurting for business? Do they put y'all up to saying all this crap? They advertise on this station, by the way, during their segment. Is mycomputercareer.com, are they sponsored by Betsy DeVos? Or do they sponsor Betsy DeVos as well as this show? Because she's responsible for these guys, trying to tear down the front door of a state house and blocking the path to a hospital. That was AstroTurf. That's our new Tea Party. Our new Tea Party is that. These intellectual zombies. You know what? Generation Z, Generation Y/millennials. We got our zombie apocalypse. We got them running around right now trying to tear down our communal protection infrastructure. We are at war. The enemy is, the fight was abroad, but they took the fight to us. The virus is here. It's not just in China. It's here, on our shores. And we better get to being like Anne Frank to protect ourselves and each other here in Memphis. If not, the listenership of 92.9 is going to be rather reduced, especially with their capacity to resume their same line of work because of the damage to their lungs and kidneys from this horrible virus, which you all are not taking seriously. Jeff and Gary, come get your boys. And don't let them back out there until they've got their head straight. Thank you.